no shoot with Gilbert Arenas. Thanksgiving holiday has just been complete. Got rid of that itis. Back at him. Had to do a little heat check. We're about, 25% through the season?
Yes.
So want to touch base on a bunch of different topics going on around the NBA. But first and foremost, got to hit you on probably one of the bigger stories I think we've seen. It was almost a Malice in the Palace Part 2. We had LeBron, Isaiah Stewart. You had some very, very, very good opinions on that whole situation. So now we have time to digest, process, look at all the different angles back and to the left, like the JFK vid, over and over again. Need to know, after you reviewed the video, your expert opinion as a former hooper, did LeBron deliberately hit Isaiah Stewart in the face?
I always say it's a deliberate accident. You know what I mean? It's a box out on the free throw line. So you have, at that time, you have DeAndre Jordan, who's pushing Isiah into LeBron. Right? So usually that middle guy is trying to get the offensive rebound, right? So his movement is that way. Well, he's being pushed into LeBron. Well, if you're holding on to a player, of course the player is gonna do the get off me, movement. So that's what LeBron was doing. So he was purposely like, yo, back up. Didn't realize his face was actually there. Yeah. That's where the accident comes from, because when you're playing, a big man get the rebound, you're hanging on them. They always do the same thing, like back up. They're not really trying to hit you. They're just like, that little scare tactic. And, Isiah just got caught.
Okay.
That's what it is. So it was done on purpose, but accidental to the face.
Because the Twitter detectives out there, after reviewing the video, they said LeBron deliberately, with malicious intent, went for his grill.
No.
As a hooper, when somebody's into you and it's LeBron's a big dude.
Yeah, you're trying to hold on and you're like, man, But usually, as a player, you see it come like, oh, okay, all right. That's how we playing. Because big men do it all the time when you're hanging on them. They sit there and get the rebound and they do one of those, and the player just. Some players know how to react well, where it looks like they got hit and Mark Smart falls, and So there's people who take advantage of those, but for the most part, it's usually that warning, get off of me because you're hanging on.
And do you feel like, obviously, you said Isaiah Stewart's going to end up in Budapest if he did get to LeBron? Do you feel like his reaction was? Because look, as any human being, I don't care who it is. LeBron catches me with that bow, my face starts bleeding. I'm on national TV.
Okay,
I know I'm gonna get clowned on every, so I have to respond.
Okay, so the first 2 minutes was understandable, and then it became overboard. Because it's not like LeBron was aggravating you, like trying to be tough, like, yo, what's that? Forget your face, I did it, and what? Let's. He's not doing that. He's checking his watch, probably looking at his Fitbit to see how many calories in the loss. Who knows? He's checking his little wristbands and stuff. He's not engaging. So the fact that, Isaiah is still trying to get to a player who's not even engaging. He's not he has no skin in this right now. Like, oh, should I up? My bad. You know what I mean? Like now you become the aggressor. And that's what ends up happening. It's like, he was the aggressor because he elbowed you. Your first reaction is your response. And then he's no longer in this picture, and you're still making it a scene. And that's where it became unnecessary.
Kudos to all the Detroit security who got out the way. I'm not trying to deal. If a dude's bleeding and running around, I'm not trying to deal with all that.
That's the problem. The security, your job is to contain, not get out of the way. Like,
I'm not getting
he's coming!
In a pandemic, I'm not getting blown up by any human being, especially not Isaiah Stewart. But it seems like, you look at Kobe, MJ, ghosts get tested, but LeBron has really never been tried by anybody. Do you feel like guys fear LeBron? Like, are they afraid of LeBron and what could happen? Because I don't know. I don't know if LeBron has hands or not, but I'm not going to find out.
It ain't about being afraid of. It's just, over time, it's changed. Like back when Jordan, fines were $5,000. So, somebody like Vernon Maxwell didn't care about what Jordan was talking about. He would take a swing for $5,000. You move on to the Kobe era where, you're going against Chris Childs, that cost Chris Childs, the end of his career, let's be honest. After that contract was up, nobody touched you. You know what I mean? Yeah, so you got a nice little two-piece in, but that was it.
It wasn't worth it. That two-piece was not worth it.
At this point, the suspensions and fines cost too much to challenge a superstar. You really have to be, That's why I said he's going to have to get drug tested because you really have to be off to actually go through with something like that because it costs too much. Like LeBron, one suspension, $400,000. Trust me, brother, I don't give a shit what you say on that court. You're not worth $400,000. Okay, you're not worth $400,000, so I'm not swinging.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It just doesn't. It just costs too much.
All right, let's move on to another pressing topic. Kevin Durant, during the game, they caught wind of his ankle. It appeared to be grayscale level ashiness. So I just want to know, was that the ashiest ankle that you've ever seen?
No. So what ends up happening, like that's funny. What ends up happening is this: when you're going through a routine, right? Sometimes you forget to put back on lotion.
Okay.
So like, some guys do like ice cold tubs for their legs before. So they'll get all in their uniform and then do ice cold right before game. Then like, oh shit, put your socks back on.
Yeah.
Not realize, let me put lotion back on and do all that. So, sometimes it's just a routine of what happens before games.
So before a game, though, because I'd imagine lotion's going to make your hands slippery. That might impact your shot a little bit. How early before a game are you going to moisturize and get your...
You gotta remember, you're getting ready for the game. When you're leaving home, you're moisturized.
Okay.
You go to the game, you work out, you do all that, right? Some people take showers after they work out before the game. So are they gonna remember to put on lotion before the game?
Yeah.
Like I used to put on lotion because it helped me sweat.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I'll put on lotion in certain spots just to help me sweat. I wouldn't put it on my arm. It's just certain things I just wouldn't put it on. Like I'll use gloves, because I don't want this hand,
Okay.
It's just certain things people did. So like I remember Melo came in, and he used to, and I started doing it. He'd go in, he came into the locker room, and then he went to the cold tub, hot tub, cold tub, and I'm like, yo, what are you doing? He said it helps my legs recover, so I have fresh legs before the game starts. Oh, so that became part of my routine.
Okay.
Go in, come out, go in, and then when the game's dried off, and then put the socks back on. Ashy.
So Gil, you were playing Ashy then?
Yeah, you play.
Okay.
Sometimes you just
Okay.
you forget. Sometimes.
So you understand what KD
Yeah.
was going through.
Yeah.
It's not that big of a deal.
But you see, he wears high. He wears high socks.
Okay. Yeah.
So sometimes you just be like, I
respected it.
I ain't worried about it. God.
When you're rich, you could be Ashy. You can start a whole new trend. You can do those type of things when you're getting KD and Gil level.
Yeah.
Me personally, might know because you're Ashy. I'm getting.
It just happens. It just happens.
So now let's move on to what's really going on in the league right now. Golden State Warriors, first 20 games, 18-2, hottest start in the league. Mm-hmm. Is it fair to say now, we've talked about them in previous shows, is it fair to say now that this team is the top contender to come out of the West?
I mean, without Clay, they are playing beautiful basketball. I mean, we can't take that away. I mean, we knew this was what Curry was gonna do this year. I mean, if you've seen what he was doing last year, coming back, back into his element, you knew it was gonna happen. Didn't think the group around him would have stepped up to the challenge of, being in sync, with him. So that is a surprise. But how Curry's playing is not the surprise. It's how everybody around him is actually playing also.
So, Juan Toscano Anderson, amongst other people in Warriors Twitter, saying Steph is the best player in the world right now. Do you agree or disagree with that statement?
Being the best in the world and playing like the best in the world is two different things. Being, the most valuable player in this moment or the valuable player in this league. Like if we take what everyone's doing right now and then we say, all right, we're going to draft, right? LeBron and KD is going to be number 1 and 2. Okay. You know what I mean? That's just how it is. At this moment in time, playing like the best player in the world, yes, hands down.
So you still tell me you're taking LeBron and KD over Steph right now. If you had to look at what's going on in the league currently right now through 21, 22 games, and you were still redrafting, you still going to go with LeBron?
Everyone is. This is just not me. Everyone. If you're going to do a draft and you're going to say, all right, as everyone is playing right now, yes, LeBron, KD, Giannis might go 3. Maybe Giannis might go. It's between Steph and Giannis at he's the first guard, hands down. You know what I mean? It's just, he brings, you got to remember the people who's going to be in front of him are multiple position players. Players who can play 1 through 5, basically, 1 through 4. They can, guard a lot of people on defense. Steph is a guard who's just dynamic, at what he does. So, if he's slipping, he's not slipping because of the play. It's just these positions, I can cover more ground with these positions. Okay. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna make sure little words Twitter.
You know what I mean? It's just,
man out.
You know what I mean? I can just cover more pieces to pick with these, But first guard, no, hands down. Come on, let's go.
So Steph now, I think, a lot of people have tried to make the claim that Steph is the best point guard in NBA history. When you look at, I'm a Magic guy myself, but that just is what it is. I'm not going to sit here and argue and debate. But where would you put Steph in that point guard discussion? Is Steph the best point guard in your mind in NBA history?
I remember I said that Steph, to me, wasn't a top 5 point guard, right? It's a difference, point guard and guard. Like, it's unfair to the definition of what we think are point guards. His title is point guard, but when you say, all right, Magic, John Stockton, Mark Jackson, those type of point guards, throwing Steph in that category is like, I wouldn't want to have 16,000 points and 15,000 assists, and then Steph finished his career and he's at 26,000 points and 10,000 assists. Hands down, those 6,000 assists I have over him are meaningless compared to his points over mine. But, that role has changed. So it's just one of those things that it evolved so drastically that it's unfair to the past by having Steph pushed in, just like when Iverson. But Iverson was listed as a shooting guard. Yeah. So Steph jumping, all these new guards, Steph, Westbrook, all these guys jumping into that point guard category, and they're competing against us pass first guys. They're just going to blow them out of waters and pick. So as a guard who played point guard, who played that one position, I can put him top 3.
Okay. I mean, I would always say, if you're going to make Steph a point guard, you got to
LeBron.
LeBron's got to be a point guard, too. You can't call him a small 40. He's initiating the offense. He might be that defensively with your defensive schemes, but
you got to remember, the people who will be picked in front of him in that position are somebody like Magic, who played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 positions. LeBron, who's playing 1 through 5 positions. 6. You know what? I'll do this. 6'4" and under? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So if there's anybody bigger than him, Magic or LeBron, then 6. Yes.
So I want to shift it to Steve Kerr. I know he's a zone guy.
Bear down.
And I know, our producer Danny in the background. I know how you guys roll with each other and really rock with each other. So Steve Kerr, his coaching's been called into question. But when you look at Steve Kerr, what he's been able to do with this squad, these teams over the past few seasons, would you say that Steve Kerr is an elite level coach, or is he a beneficiary of Steph Curry's greatness?
That's a what came first, the chicken or the egg conversation. They're both. I think they're both credited for the success of that team. Kerr has given Steph and Clay and Draymond so much leeway and confidence to become what they are. That is coaching. That is part of coaching. That I have this guy who's shooting 35 footers when his brain says, go, let it go. And I can sit back and, hey, keep doing you, do you. Like, to build the confidence. You got to remember, as a coach, to build that kind of confidence, you have to understand what that type of player is. You know what I mean? So forget the record. The product says he's a great coach. How Clay plays, how Draymond plays, how Curry plays is the product of, of Steve Kerr's coaching ability, that he can put these type of players in positions to be successful.
So I want to talk about a Kerr disciple, your former teammate at Arizona, Luke Walton. Mm-hmm. So Luke got booted by the Kings. I want to say it was 68 and 93 in 2 seasons there. But the same Luke took that Warrior squad and had them on a record-setting pace when Steve Kerr was dealing with the bacchiotomy issues and all that stuff going on. So do you feel like, Luke's gotten a bad rap? Did he deserve to get booted by the Kings, or is that just something, because, my former teammate, Matt Barnes, who played with the Kings, and I talked to recently on the Kings pregame show, he didn't necessarily feel that the organization is doing enough to put out a team that's worthy of whoever you put there to coach. Is not going to be able to make much with that roster. So did Luke get the raw end of the deal, or was it time to make a move there?
But, the problem with being a coach is, or just a coach is, as a chef, you're not the one picking the items for you to cook on Thanksgiving. Someone else is picking it, and you're supposed to just make this feast, right? So no matter how brilliant you are as a coach, how smart you are as a coach, how lenient you are as a coach, if you're not picking the players that you can coach or that can play, it reflects on your record. So the coach is going to be fired first for a general manager that was picking his players. You got to remember, the general manager is picking these players. And he's like, all right, I know I could have had him, but I gave you him and him and him and him. And all right, make me something great. Oh, yeah, you gave me a whole bunch of bricks, and that's what you're going to get. I can warm these bricks up. I can, put some ice on these bricks, but they're still bricks. And that's the problem with coaching. Like, no, he doesn't deserve to get fired. You were expected to be that bad, period. Now it's just, are the players getting better? That's the role of some of these coaches on certain teams. As long as the players are getting better, they're progressing, then there's no need to fire them. Like Houston Rockets coach. I expected you guys to be where you are, last place. How are the players looking? Is Jalen Green, how's his confidence? How is he playing? Like, is he coming along the way I need to? I'm not expecting them to be decent 4 years from now. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to be, it's not more coaching. It's just go through, it's part of the process. They didn't let it happen in SAC.
That reminds me of another one of my teammates, Earl Watson at UCLA, was put in a situation with the Suns where, to your point, he's not making those personnel decisions. He got a guy like Devin Booker. Mm-hmm. I'm going to let Book roll. I'm going to let him get 70 pieces against Boston. I want his confidence to be at a supreme level. And now we're seeing the results of that, later on now in his career, with the Suns being a formidable squad and obviously top 2 in the West. So do you think Luke deserves another chance somewhere? Will he bounce back, or?
Yes, that's what I said. It all depends. So like somebody like, Earl Watson, like the new coach is benefiting from what Earl did with with him. You built this guy up, you built this confidence, you built up, you took those L's, but he's learning how to be a star. He's learning how to be efficient. He's learning how to be a gamer. That's what that coach did. Now a new coach comes in and is like, look, he's a better coach. Look at our team's success. Well, that's not how that works, That's not how that works. So, he deserves another chance. If you want him to win, give him a winning situation and watch him then. Like we seen what he did with Golden State when Kerr was out. No matter if you're just sitting there, like it's not like he was just sitting there. He still got a sub, make great rotations. Because come on, we got some coaches in this league that got great talent, but the rotations are horrible, and it shows on their record. So
I think I know where you're going with that.
No, I'm just saying. Just period. Just period. Just period. Not calling anybody out.
Because, previous shows, I think you talked about rotations and lineups that you would like to see, and now it seems like certain teams that you're discussing are making shifts towards doing that.
Yeah, that's what the beginning of the season is like. Just trying to figure out what you have going on to Christmas, and after Christmas you got All-Star, and after All-Star break is when you start tightening your rotation up. You can't have a tight rotation at the beginning of the season.
So you mentioned the Rockets. Let's talk about John Wall. I think 2 years, $91 million of the team so far. Been looking for a trade partner, been unsuccessful to this point. John Wall stated that he wants to help out. I'm sure, sitting at the crib not being able to do what you love, it's got to be frustrating for any human being. Are the Rockets making the right decision now? Because there's been a lot of different reports out there that he wants to be a starter. He said that was cap. Are the Rockets doing the right thing now by just letting him sit and fester, or should they give him a look with this squad?
Okay, this is like one of those things that's really not talked about when you age out of a team's programming, and that's where John Wall is. It was where Melo was a few years ago, where this team is young, right? They brung you in because the team was a little older and they were trying to make some noise in the playoffs, right? Everyone left. James Harden left. PJ Tucker left. The pieces left. You're still there during rebuilding time. Well, we have 3-4 guards in that position. 1, 2, 3, right? I need them to play. So the fact that you're gonna be averaging 21 and 11, 21 and 10 is not gonna help the record, and it's definitely not gonna help the product that I'm trying to get fast forward for the future. So they're in a bad situation with John, because if John was playing, yes, John is gonna average 20 and 10. Right? You got shooters, you got young kids who's gonna run up and down, stats is gonna be nice. But that doesn't help them for the future. So they need their young guys, the Porter, the Guap, and Jalen. You need those guys, Kenyon Martin Jr. You need those guys to really learn how to play. And with John Wall running the point, that won't happen. So the best thing for them to do was to bench him or try to trade him.
But even in a reserve role, you can't see him playing, 15, 20 minutes a game?
You can't stop a star from being a star. You can't stop a dominant guy from being dominant. You know what I mean? You got to remember, with John Wall, we're going to be 13, 14, 15. Without him, 13, 14, 15 for sure. But those guys get 46 minutes a night to learn how to be. You got to remember, once you start rebuilding, now it's getting those young players to turn over faster. So I need them to learn, go out there and make mistakes. So I wouldn't need a John Wall sitting there controlling, making everything, and he's making the mistakes. I need those guys to really, really get in there, get in that fire and learn how to swim on their own.
So if you're John Wall, how are you handling that type of situation? You're around the facility.
I'm pretty sure this is probably the most frustrated part of his career and will be going forward. He just got to be a professional. Just, work out, train, stay engaged. Just understand this is just part of it. This is no different than trying to steal a position from another player, or battling for a position, or battling and trying to get there. This is more of a mental battle right now where you have to stay engaged. You can't lose hope. You got to be a professional. You got to be a veteran. That's the role you're in right now. Just trying to lead by example of, being a professional.
You think it's right that the Rockets are able to essentially hold him hostage now? You got a guy who wants to play. I'm making millions and millions and millions of dollars on the books. Is it realistic to think that anybody's going to want that trade? I mean, we're seeing a similar situation with Ben Simmons. Like, I'm not going to trade for something that I haven't even get to see what it's worth.
You know, I don't even know if trading, I mean, I'm pretty sure if they can trade him for some more young pieces, they would. It's just who's willing to give up young pieces. Yeah. So there's only a few situations that John Wall can actually go into. You know, you can't go into no bottom feeding team because that's all young. Now you're talking about a middle of the road team, right? That just needs one more player to help them boost up. So that's New York Knicks, which could possibly be a trade now that they benched Kemba. New Jersey, Brooklyn Nets. Brooklyn Nets, since Kyrie's not playing, they can probably, try to get, another power guard into there. Boston, maybe. Denver.
Would you say you trade John Wall for Kyrie?
No.
No. What if Kyrie's like, I'm not playing? Like,
no, it's not trade for him. It's trade because you got to remember, whoever Houston's taking back won't be a vet. They're not looking for veterans. They're going to be looking for more young pieces. So if they got their 1, 2, 3s, they're looking for 4 or 5s that can add, that can grow. Because you got to remember that team is basically 18 to 22. 18, 23. So they have to fill in positions there. So, him going to teams that has a chance to win. Because other than that, so basically 75% of the NBA is cut out of this trade for John Wall.
So team that you mentioned, New York Knicks. Let's hit Kemba real quick. Obviously news coming out. He's out of the rotation. I think Alec Burks is going to fill his role in the starting lineup. Kemba struggled a little bit in his homecoming to New York. Do you feel like Thibs made the right decision benching him, or is there another way?
Are you benching him because of his talent, or you're benching him because it's personal? That's the real question, because you look at his stats, it's not bench worthy. He's playing, you're paying him and you're playing him 22 minutes. I'm pretty sure he's frustrated. I'm pretty sure he's letting you know he's frustrated, and that's what you're benching him for. As Kemba, you had to see this coming. You got Derrick Rose over there coming off the bench. That's Tibbs' guy. He's done proven to Tim that he's a warrior. He knows how he knows how Tibbs wants to play. He's done shown what he can do. You can say he's back. Now you guys are competing on who's going to finish the game in the fourth quarter. And the coach is going to go with the guy that's proven to him numerous times over and over. So he's going to play Derrick Rose over you in the last 10 minutes, last 5 minutes of that game anyway. So that's going to frustrate. And you can't play you both together because you guys are smaller guards. So the person who's on the out would have been Kemba anyway. So, him probably complaining and being frustrated at the playing time and the rotation is probably what got him out of the rotation.
And do you see a world, I think Bleacher Report put up a post earlier this week saying that potential Kemba for John Wall trade could be in the cards. You think that makes sense on any level?
No, because if John Wall comes in, it's the same thing that he's going to be fighting with Derrick Rose those last 5 minutes. So the only thing that makes sense is if Derrick Rose is going to be playing that last 5 minutes of the game, then you need a guard who can also swing to the 2. So a better trade would possibly be Philly. If they can get Ben Simmons over there, because Ben Simmons don't have to be the point in the last 5 minutes. He can be a 3, 4, 5 at that point in the game where he can.
If you Philly though, and they say we'll give you Kemba, it's like why do I want somebody that you're not even rocking with?
You know what? That's the big. The funny thing about trades, right? But Kemba's different because they can't use Kemba in the last 5 minutes because they have Rose. So it's not like we don't want him. We can't use him, and he's angry about it, and he's messing up team chemistry. So he's just out of this rotation until we can figure out what we're going to do with him.
And what do you think happened? They end up trading him?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if you had to guess for a realistic destination for somebody to want to take on Kemba in this contract?
Somebody who, he's a small guard, so, if he's still trying to start, it has to be a team that doesn't have a guard. Other than that, this is one of those things where he can be pushed to a six-man. He can be pushed to a six-man role and be a finisher in the last 5 minutes. But that's more of chess at this point, trying to figure out what destination, what teams need your skill set.
All right, now let's head out to the frigid Minnesota Timberwolves.
Okay.
Right now, they're not even in the playoff game. They're comfortably in the sixth spot. Not comfortable, but I'm just saying they're surprising. And last year, you talked about Anthony Edwards, and you had concerns about him as a rookie being that third option with Cat and D'Lo. I think this year he's established himself as one of the top young talents in the league. But I want to get your take. When you look at Ant-Man and his progress over the past year, do you still feel that way, or has your opinion changed?
Well, you're bringing up old shit, man. You know what I mean? Sometimes we get it wrong. When I made it was like, who could possibly be a bust, right? It was one of those type of discussions. And when you look at 1, 2, 3, you're looking at who's already there. So it's like, you got D'Lo, you got, Cat, and he can, this number one pick can go in as a third option. That can probably be disastrous for him. You have Wiseman, who's going to Golden State. That is a possible bust, position. But, they don't have any. He can get easy buckets because he got all shooters. So you had those two. Ball was going in as the man. So he's going to get all the freedom to do everything, he wanted. So it was one of those things where, I was picking which was the most likely. Yeah. And I was wrong. I was totally wrong.
When you watch him now,
that man's nice. That man's nice.
I mean, aside from just the personality, which I love, and just he's a walk-in.
You know what? That's what got me before the game. Just listening to his interviews, I was like, yo, this dude is hilarious. Yeah. Like he's just so quotable. It's like there's nothing you can hate about this dude when they put a mic in front of him. Yeah. And the fact that his game is just so explosive.
I think there was concerns even initially up top with him, not maybe loving basketball as much as people would want, but he's the type of dude, when he gets on the court and it's time to produce and time to perform, he's going to give it his all. Do you look at any guys, were there guys you played with that maybe didn't love the game but had so much natural talent? Not to say you don't love it, but guys that can go out there and I'm going to still drop 30 on your head.
Yes, a bunch. A bunch.
And, what names come to mind when you think about that?
Okay, so this player is, you got to remember, growing up, he was one of my favorites players. The first NBA autograph that I've ever received, Vince Carter.
Okay.
So, as a hooper, Vince was supposed to be the next MJ, the heir. That's the talent he possessed. That's the talent that, from the naked eye, you can see, man, he's unstoppable. When he got mad, you could not contain Vince Carter. But Vince Carter was just a chill dude, and that's how he played the game. So it was one of those things you could have you can argue that you had the most attributes the league has ever seen, from shooting, dribbling, jumping, off 1 foot, off 2 foot, moving in the air. You can say you arguably had it more than Jordan. When it comes to just body control and you didn't dominate the way you should have. I mean, the fact that you lasted 20 years just tells us how gifted you were. It just tells you how gifted you were, that you can still be a high-level athlete 20 years in. At the age of 41, you still got a 40-inch vertical. Like right now, you tell him to dunk, no warm, he's still gonna dunk. Yeah. That's how gifted he was. So the fact that he's not put into that category as top 3 ever played is like one of those things that because as a fan, it's like,
yeah, not for sure.
Like I will always just, but it's a love poke. It's not like, I wouldn't say I hate it, it's just a love poke, like, you could have been better.
So when you look at Ant-Man, I mean, some, I think prematurely have drawn comparisons to Michael Jordan, just in terms of skill set, athleticism. Do you feel like he can get to that level at some point?
Having the attributes is one thing, right? Wanting to put in that work is another. Sometimes, the game is so easy for people with certain attributes, like Ant-Man, you have, like somebody like Vince. Everyone is so beneath you when it comes to athleticism. When you do get mad and you say, all right, y'all fucking with me now, and you're sitting there and you just take over, it becomes so easy that it doesn't challenge you. You know what I mean? So going into a summer saying, I have to work on this, and improving my game to be the best doesn't register. Because it's so easy. Like, wait till the end of the summer, run a couple miles, get ready for training camp, and then, we'll see what happens. You know what I mean? It's just sometimes those guys are put into the category of top 10 ever just because of their attributes. To be 1 or 2, it's having the determination of being the greatest ever. That's a whole nother mindset.
For sure. And I mean, I think personally, just looking at him and knowing how hard he works, and that's the whole thing. I feel like he got a bad rap coming in just because he knew he was going to be number 1 pick, freak athlete and all the stuff he could do. But it seems like he's adding levels and layers to his game now. He's improved from year 1 to year 2. And to your point, that's the thing I get excited about, even looking at somebody like a Giannis. Like, Giannis started hooping when he was like 14, 15 years old, right? Mm-hmm. Going up in Greece, selling watches and DVDs and stuff. Hoop wasn't a priority. Mm-hmm. But there's still layers and levels you can add to his game. And if he can get a consistent jumper and things like that, which that's just, that summer work that you want to see guys come back with that different skill set. But I also don't want Ant-Man to become so dependent on the athleticism that now, like you're saying, as he gets to year 5, 6, 7, you can't really do that anymore. You look at somebody like a Blake Griffin who came in and it's like, you can do all those wild and crazy dunks, but you're not going to be able to sustain that.
Yeah, that's what I said. It's just understanding the progression of your skill. So if you look at Greek the Freak, he was a skinny kid coming in, right? A skinny kid who had a skill. Yeah. And that's what he did have a skill when he first came in. He was just this wiry player, and he's getting pushed around. Then he hit the weight room, and then he became a bully. Right? Then he became a bully. Now we're complaining about the bullying the bullies. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's like one of those things for Ant-Man that he needs to really go into a summer. Not saying he needs to right now. He's progressing well. Go into a summer and then just be like, I want to be the best player next year. I want to be MVP can. And he treats a summer like that. That's going to be a whole different player. This player the player we're seeing right now is just having fun with his ability. The player who decides to say, you know what, I want to be an MVP player. And that summer, that his mindset is going into wanting to be an MVP, when he comes into that season, you're going to be like, oh, yeah, he's here. You know what I mean? It's just getting that mindset of earlier than later.
Most definitely. And I guess just ask you, what's a successful season for the Timberwolves look like?
You got three star-like players over there. So, not putting them in the top 5 will be disrespectful to who they are. Them not being top 5 is disrespectful to how they played. You know what I mean? So it's on the onus of both mindsets. You guys have 3 players that's averaging 20. You should be a top 5 team. You know what I mean? So the fact that you're 6, you're playing under what you guys really are. You know what I mean? You guys might need to self-check each other and say, hey, listen, together, we're 60 points in. It's hard. It's going to be hard to beat us if we really come out and try to actually win games.
I think we're seeing that now.
I mean, they're 11-10, bro. They're 11-10.
Hey, for Timberwolves, that's
I mean, for the Timberwolves, that's cool.
That might be parade worthy.
It ain't cool if you got 3 players that's averaging 20.
No, for sure. But let's shift things to college quickly. Now, move to the Pac-12. We could talk about UCLA, obviously the premier dominant team in the conference, but let's shift to auxiliary teams. Your Arizona Wildcats, new head coach, Tommy Lloyd in there. You're a little cold on them initially. Do you like what you're seeing from this Wildcat squad?
All right.
Number 11.
I hate giving compliments out to, it's one of those Steve Kerr moments. The team that you have is not your actual team. You didn't bring these players there. They were already there when you got there. So now it's more of how does the players feel, right? And the players like this offense a lot better. So that means, yes, what he's doing is great then, because if you have this group who played under another coach and they're liking your offense better because it's running smoother, it's more to their attributes, then you are a coach that should be praised for your impact on what's going on. Because, no matter what you get, if you can't turn it, if you can't, maximize the talent around, then you shouldn't be credited at all. But the fact that they are playing a style of basketball that I was accustomed to seeing, when I played, it shows a lot of credit. So he should get his credit, even though.
This is the more important question. Are we pulling up to the Arizona-UCLA game in Poly Pavilion? And if so, can you get the Arizona plug so we can get some good seats?
Oh, you want them seats? Them I can get them seats. Yeah, them right behind the bench. Yeah, I can get you those. I can get you those behind the Arizona bench.
We get it. I'm coming full UCLA garb, but
yeah, I can get you those. I can.
Plug. How much bread are we putting on? Like, what's a successful game for Arizona? Like, how much do y'all need to lose by for you to be like, okay?
What's the spread? It depends on what the spread is.
Let's go money line.
Ooh, money, gee.
Now I give you like 3 points.
Oh, 3 points, that's cool.
I give you like 3 points.
Y'all rank what, 2 right now?
I think we're 5 now. We had a little stumble against Gonzaga.
Yeah, but Gonzaga's number 1.
Yeah,
but you got your ass whooped badly, but that's
smacked.
Yeah, I got bad. It was a smacking. It was a smacking.
Vegas, too much time in Vegas, buffets. It was too much.
It's going to be a battle because it's 2 different styles. So we'll see what happens. But if you're going to give me 3 points, I'm going to take those 3.
Well, we got to, we're about 50 days away? Or we're about 29 days away, whatever about 4 weeks away.
Yeah, about 4 weeks away.
Let me say we're at 4 weeks.
Look at you. Look at you. Y'all supposed to be favored to win this shit and you're backing out.
We can talk. Injury bugs, there's a lot of things that can happen. All right, we're going to do a segment now called Oh, By the Way. You made some predictions earlier on, in previous episodes.
Okay.
Talked about the Boston Celtics. You don't have a Twitter, but apparently Celtics Twitter's been coming at you. I've muted most of those human beings, so I don't see it.
Okay.
But apparently they've been coming for you over your comments. Celtics are now at 11-10 in the East. Do you feel like you want to retract anything? Like, what do you have to say to the Celtics Twitter right now?
What are they coming at me for?
I think you said the team was boo-boo. And
they're 11-10?
They're 11-10.
So they're boo-boo still. Okay, all right. So they're still boo-boo. Okay, got it. All right. And what else? That was it? So they're mad because I called them boo-boo? And
so you have some pointed comments about Marcus Smart, the Marcus Smart hive, which may not be too smart. It came at you. It's basically said that Marcus Smart has more playoff wins than you have. How do you feel about that?
Wait, playoff win? Oh, I thought you said playoff points. Wins. Woo. Okay. I guess if that's what they're gonna try to get to, playoff wins. I mean, I'm pretty sure he has more playoff minutes, more playoff games played. I think I've only played in 2-3 series, and he still hasn't beat me in playoff points. I don't even know why we can even talking about Marcus Smart and me when it comes to just playing the game.
I just look. I do what I'm asked.
So I was right.
I do what I'm asked.
So so basically I was right. If they went all the way to playoff wins, I was right.
And why do you have, honestly, like Celtics, because you're not even on Twitter, so why is Celtics Twitter so in their feelings if you had to guess? Like Dr. Phil for a moment.
Okay, this is why. Listen, they suck, all right? So, and sometimes when media makes it seem like you're better than what you are, they kind of get in their feelings. Nothing against like Boston Celtics players. It's just your team sucks. That's it. It's just the team sucks right now. That's like Marcus Smart. His gift is not with this type of team. A few years ago, when he was, you gotta remember, a few years ago, he was the fourth option, right? As a fourth option, he's a great bridge player, meaning he does all the little things. He's the PJ Tucker. He does all the little things that helps them become great. Well, that team is only 2 stars now. So that makes him third option. That team's not good enough for that because now he wants a bigger role. So he needs to be on a team that's ready to just turn over. You know, his skill set is to put you over the top. So he's supposed to be the Avery Bradley of the Lakers. Switch those two out. Lakers have a better, that's, you want a Marcus Smart over Avery Bradley. You know,
so Celtics obviously, not performing at the level that some think they should. Do you think they're at where they're supposed to be?
Yeah, they're perfect.
So they're overexceeding expectations.
Think about it. Okay, you lost Hayward, right? That was a 20-point score. You lost him. You lost Kemba, right? So you have scores that's gone. You have 2 players that's trying to figure out who they are, what they are in this league. You shouldn't be expected to win anything. Let them go into the seat. Hey, listen, you guys are the 2 stars. Don't care about winning. Do your thing. But the fact that they think they're this top team is like, it's delusional. It's more delusional than Bucks thinking they're going to repeat. You know, I'm just saying, there's just some things that's just delusional in this game, and those are one of the 2.
As you know, I pander to Milwaukee. My dad works for the squad.
Oh, man, you in this delusion.
Wrote 17 tickets for the Laker game, so I got to give it up to the city. Beautiful people. And you said they were going to win again for another 50 years.
Yes, facts.
Boogie Cousins added to the roster. Does that do anything for you?
Another 50 years. 49.7. I mean, come on. That's not who you need. I mean, Boogie Cousins helps them, but
can that squad? I mean, looking at the East is weak. No Kyrie on the net.
No.
Can that squad come out of the East again? Absolutely no way.
No.
All right, we're going.
Because you didn't do, like, I call it like this. You won a chip, right? You won. But we're not going to take away the win. We're going to talk about how you won, right? So reality has to kick in the summer. You won. You got out of the first round. You were getting manhandled against the Nets. Kyrie goes down. James Harden was not playing in this series. Kyrie and KD was kicking y'all ass. Kyrie gets hurt game 4. Y'all win. James Harden is put into play, who hasn't been playing because of the hamstring. So now you basically have a 1 and not even a half a player in James Harden. 1 in 10 first game, shot 9 shots game 6. So you don't really have the James Harden. So you get out of that series. You was getting manhandled by Trae Young. You didn't even know how to stop him. Y'all had to call in the referee for that one. You know what I mean? So you get out of that series. You go against the Suns. First 2 games, you get smacked. They had to call in. They had to call in the kryptonite to Chris Paul. They had to call in the kryptonite to Chris Paul to get 2 wins. You won a championship. That's cool. Don't go into the summer thinking you guys were a championship team, is all I'm saying.
Okay.
Improve. Everybody else improved. Improve. You didn't improve.
You don't think that squad improved?
No. Who did they get?
George Hill, Grayson Allen, who's been playing solid. They got Boogie now. Okay, you asked me a question, I'm responding. This is what I want to know.
You got okay, D+.
Bucks go back to the finals. Will you show up to a Bucks home game in a Giannis jersey?
I like Giannis, so yeah.
You'll do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
just want to see it.
It's just having a Bucks uniform on is the bad part. He don't have like no Nike gear or no Adidas gear. What I'm saying is that Giannis ain't got no gear, no outside Giannis Copo gear. Like I can wear.
I need a Greek freak or whatever.
Yeah, I can do a Greek freak shirt. You know what I mean? That's cool.
Sure.
I like Greek. That's what I said. I like the player. I like him. Like I seen a video of him and his dad, and he's doing push-ups, and his dad is just killing him. And the fact that he's just struggling and just, like, that's a warrior, man. Like I can't complain about the warrior himself.
All right, Milwaukee, you heard it. If y'all make the finals again, Gil might squander his Adidas contract by wearing a Giannis Nike jersey to a Bucks game. But we will see if it's gonna happen. But we appreciate y'all. That was No Chill with Gilbert Arenas. It's the Heat Check Special Edition episode. We appreciate y'all rocking with us. We'll be back with more very, very soon.